So what are the top 10 action figures of 2024, you ask? Well, stick around and let's find out. That's right, baby. I am back, and I'm back this time to count down the top 10 action figures of 2024. First, let's cut through some red tape. In order for a figure to be eligible for this list, it had to be released in 2024, and I definitely had to have acquired the figure in 2024. Now, released is getting bunny ears because there is some wiggle room there. For example, when I say release, I'm not talking about when the figure was first solicited or first went up for pre-order. That wouldn't make a lot of sense to me since there's often a long gap between that time period and when the figure gets in our grubby little paws. No, by released, I mean when the figure was first widely available to be physically acquired. So, for example, if a pre-order started hitting at the end of 2023, but I didn't get my figure until 2024, that's a 2024 figure. Also, we're mainly just talking about commercially available figures here. So no customs, no one-offs, nothing like that. The idea is that these are figures that anyone else could have purchased during 2024. Next, and this might be the most important thing, this list is totally subjective. Is it objectively the top 10 best figures of 2024? Is it my favorite 10 action figures of 2024? The answer is yes. While I do try to make an objective evaluation of each figure, I have said many times that I cannot separate the intangibles surrounding a figure from my year-end evaluation of it. For example, if there's some cool story that goes along with the figure, if it was a gift from a family member or something like that, that may weigh heavily into my consideration of this list. If I made the list 10 times, there would be 10 different lists. But at some point, you've got to finalize the list and get going, and that time is now. First up, an honorable mention. My first ever honorable mention goes to the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Armory Experience. This was not really an action figure release so much as an opportunity to build a figure through the Armory Experience at LegionsCon 2024. The Horsemen had all kinds of different knight parts in different styles and colors, and as you went through the experience, you could build your own figure from those various parts. It was super awesome and super dope and needed to be mentioned on this list, but it was not eligible. Stick around for 2025 when Armory figures will be released as single figures. And now, on to the countdown. Number 10. The number 10 action figure of 2024, according to moi, is the unparalleled universe, Odious. Like I said from the jump, intangibles can play a big role in the structure of this top 10 list. And number 10 is a perfect example of that. So Wade Merrick, aka Unparalleled Universe, is an action figure enthusiast and toy tuber of many years. I'm a big fan of his channel and his work, and fans of his channel will be familiar with the Odious character. Odious is an original character created by Unparalleled Universe many, many years ago. He's done Odious heads in the past, and just about, a year and a half, not quite 2 years ago, I'm not sure about the date, Wade did a Kickstarter for his own Odious figure. The Kickstarter funded and the figure hit this year. Once this figure hit, there was no doubt it was going to be top 10 on my list. Anybody that's a fan of highly articulated action figures and cool soft goods will really love this figure. Definitely has something of a mezco vibe to it. And it was just so cool to see this person's dream come to reality, come to fruition and have this Odious character now something that's in everyone's hands. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for Odious. Besides that, multiple heads, multiple hands, incredible soft goods, great articulation, and a bright, bright future for a super cool character. That makes Odious my number 10 action figure of 2024. Are you almost done, or what's up? Number 9. Number 9 is the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Skeleton Legion Builder Numero Dos. This was one of those figures that absolutely took the collecting world by storm when it was released in something of surprise fashion earlier this year. First off, this is the first full skeleton body that we've gotten from the Mythic Legions line. There's so much personality and expression. He's got a head with a functioning jaw, multiple sets of hands, weapons, just a super cool, fun figure. I know a lot of people were saying this was their favorite figure of the year and maybe their favorite figure in the Mythic Legions line ever. He doesn't hold quite so lofty a position for me, but I absolutely loved this figure, took him with me on vacation down to the shore this summer, and he's absolutely a top 10 figure for me for 2024. Guess not. Number 8. The number 8 action figure of 2024 for me is the Valaverse Action Force Swarm Tracer. Man, I'm just as surprised to see this figure on the list as you are. I never saw this figure coming, didn't know it was even happening. I was an original Kickstarter backer of the Action Force line those many years ago, and have been a fan of the Swarm Trooper design since then. However, Val has now taken that Swarm Trooper design and upgraded it by going full glow in the dark, plus with weapons, a stand, the wings in the back, and for people like me who missed out on the prior Scarab Swarm type trooper, this one comes with the Scarab head, again, in glow in the dark. But what really cements this figure as a top 10 figure of the year for me is that when I opened the package, holy crap, this was the most buttery smooth figure out of the package that I experienced this year. And yeah, it was cool that I was able to purchase this figure for the first time at ZoloCon 2024 directly from the Vala booth. For all of those reasons and more, the Swarm Tracer is my number 8 figure of 2024. Number 7. Number 7 is the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Ninan Infantry Soldier.
Why don't you just say it? I'm a cotton-headed ninny-muggins.
No, buddy, you're not a cotton-headed ninny-muggins.
Maybe not, but this guy is. Well, the Horsemen did it again. At LegionsCon 2023, the Horsemen surprised the collecting community by introducing the Valiant Knight as a completely unannounced in-stock drop at LegionsCon. Well, in 2024, they did it again, except they amped it up about 50 degrees. During G-Con, on the Friday of LegionsCon 2024, the Horsemen announced the new Reign of the Beasts wave, which included Basilia in figure form, as well as other snake-like soldier creatures. Astute observers will have noticed another snake-like soldier figure in the background of one of the photos. Attendees of LegionsCon 2024 were treated to another tease when this Ninan infantry soldier showed up in a little secret compartment of a diorama in the hallway of the hotel. So yeah, the fact that the Ninan infantry soldier was a surprise, unannounced, both of those things, drop at LegionsCon definitely weighs in his favor. But beyond that, this figure is just incredible. This guy's got stage presence for days, incredible bright colors, big gaudy gold accessories, multiple heads, a bendy tail that is about as bendy as any tail I've ever seen, wired soft goods. This guy just explodes in your face. This guy looks really, really cool. I mean, honestly, he might be higher on the list, except the 2 head sculpts he comes with are so incredibly lifelike and look like snakes, he can't go above my basement because my wife, not a fan of snakes. Number 6. My number 6 action figure of 2024 is the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Poxus Wave as a Hazar. Man, I don't think I've had a Mythic Legions wave that I was more excited about or looked forward to as much as the Poxus Wave. Again, that was the wave that was announced at the first G-Con I went to at Intern for a Day way back in 2021, and I couldn't wait to have this wave of figures that had all kinds of incredible creatures, magic effects, wizards, and the whole deal. And as a Hazar could be the best of the bunch, an incredible ogre scale figure with magic effects, awesome, beautiful purple soft goods. He's black-like reactive. He's a big, beefy bad boy that has tons of shelf presence. Ever since Asah Hazar and the rest of the Poxus wave landed on my little porch way back in January of 2024, I kind of knew he was going to be on the top 10, and that makes him my number 6 action figure of 2024. I should be higher. Number 5. My number 5 action figure of 2024 is the Super 7 Ultimates Silverhawks Quicksilver.
That's some bird.
Chromed out toy version. Yeah, I get it. This figure came with a lot of controversy because many people believed that Super 7 were never going to make some vac metal chromed out Silverhawks like we all really wanted. Well, eventually we found out that was something that was going to happen, and they finally hit this year, and oh man, we finally have 7-inch scale, highly articulated, modern action figures from Super 7 for Silverhawks that are fully vac metal and fully chromed out, and they just absolutely look gorgeous and beautiful. And this was what we wanted sort of the whole time, and I'm such a sucker for it. I love beautiful, shiny metal things. They look so freaking good. I knew as soon as I opened the packages for my chromed out Silverhawks that they would at least be in the running for Figures of the Year. Instead, they make the top 5 not too shabby. And yeah, I'll cheat a little bit because this number 5 spot is kind of for both Quicksilver and Steelheart because her luscious, beautiful, chromed out purple deserves more than just a mention. Number 4. The number 4 action figure of 2024 is Hasbro Marvel Legends Crystar. Another figure that makes the top 5 and was at least in the running for number 1 figure overall. Crystar was another huge surprise in 2024. And this figure shows that you don't have to be a specialty figure, you don't have to be wildly expensive or wildly hard to get to make my top 10. All you have to be is a super dope action figure, and being a really cool character doesn't hurt either. I, for one, was super surprised when I found out Marvel Legends was doing essentially what looks like a one-off of a Marvel Legends version of Crystar. I couldn't believe they were making such a cool character from my childhood that really doesn't get a whole lot of pub. Then the figure came out, and it's awesome, man. Look at it. Light blue, translucent plastic, and the way they molded the sculpt, he shimmers in the light just like the figure from the 1980s, moves around awesome, and he's freaking Crystar. And I would love for Hasbro and other companies to keep doing things like this. Give us these little niche characters and we'll buy them, man. So yeah, I absolutely love this Crystar. And I'm going to stop talking now because if I keep talking, he might move higher up on the list. Number 3. Here we go, guys. We're reaching rarefied air here. We're up to the top 3 action figures of 2024. And number 3 is Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Poxus Wave Arachagor. Arachagor is one of those figures that once you look at him, it's difficult to turn away. Another ogre scale figure with one of the most incredible paint jobs, if not the best paint job on an action figure I've ever seen. Gorgeous blues, the shimmery color shifting, almost metallic paint on his back and spine, some furry shorts, big giant badass, big giant beefy tail, and Arachagor's got the intangibles for me as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I went to intern for a day way back in 2021, and we were the first intern class that was invited back to the studio to be there live for G-Con. And I remember Arachagor being shown on the screen. We were finally getting a dragon in the Mythic Legions line, though he was a dragon seer, regular dragon later to come. That vision I have of seeing Arachagor for the first time at G-Con is something that will always remind me of Intern for a Day, and was really when I ramped up my fandom in Mythic Legions and really became, for the first time, part of the community as well. Besides the fact that this is just an absolutely incredible, amazing action figure, all the shelf presence you could ever want, and that makes him easily my number 3 action figure of 2024. Numero dos. My number 2 action figure of 2024 is the Mezco 112 Collective Dr. Doom. Mezco's Dr. Doom here is a perfect example of a figure where the pre-order started to hit in late 2023. However, I was in on the initial pre-order for this guy, and although some people received Dr. Doom towards the end of 2023, mine didn't arrive until January 2024. That makes him easily a 2024 figure for me and counts for this list. And as a matter of fact, even though I got him the first week of January 2024, Dr. Doom has been atop my list until very recently, and I thought that there was no one that could knock him off of the top spot. And the reason why is this figure is absolutely incredible. The heft of this figure is something that you just have to experience in your own hands. He's got like some metal parts. Articulation is bonkers. He has beautiful wired soft goods, really cool material, all kinds of crazy accessories like you'd expect from Mezco, light up features. He's absolutely incredible. I need to stop talking, otherwise I'm going to move him higher on the list. Nope, we're going to keep him at number 2, but that is no slight to this figure. An absolutely gorgeous, beautiful figure, something that feels different than any action figure that came out this year in hand because of the heft, because of the metal. And I guess it's not surprising that he ranks so high on my list, because even though this is a Mezco 1/12 collective figure, Dr. Doom represents the first collaboration that I'm aware of between Mezco and Four Horsemen Studios, who did the sculpting on this bad boy. And let's not forget, among those incredible accessories is included a hand throwing up the Cabal horns. Cabal above all. This thing is fantastic. In a lot of years would easily be the number 1 figure overall. In 2024, however, another figure hit that dropped him down to number 2. Number 1. So that's it, guys. We've made it. We've made it to the summit, the pinnacle, the top. Simply the best. We've made it to the number 1 action figure of 2024. And ladies and gentlemen, behold, my number 1 action figure of 2024 is the Mezco 1/12 collective Indiana Jones. I've said it many times by now, but ever since I even learned what a Mezco action figure was, I have been hoping and wishing and praying for Mezco to do an Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is one of, if not my favorite movie character of all time, and I just thought Mezco was a perfect fit for a figure that needs lots of cool accessories, soft goods, etc. So yeah, when Mezco solicited Indiana Jones last year, I was totally pumped up. On top of that, the wait time wasn't even that bad. Like I said, he went up for pre-order last year, and Indy hit in 2024. Moves around great. The soft goods are awesome. He has an awesome little brown pleather jacket, cool accessories, 2 different whips, multiple looks on the head sculpts, hat, hair, whatever you want to do. The idol pedestal here, which is fairly heavy due to it being made of that polystone material. Idol, the bag, the satchel, the pistol. It's just a fantastic figure and a wonderful representation of Indiana Jones. Is he perfect? Maybe not. I would love it if his whips were a bendy or wired version of the whips. Although I got his pistol to fit all the way in his holster, the flap doesn't close down over the gun all that well. But honestly, just the look of this figure, the feel of this figure, the fact that it's Indiana Jones, the fact that they pulled it off so incredibly well, like I hoped they would, sort of relegates those minor complaints to me as just that, kind of minor. And I'm just so happy that a dream has been fulfilled and Indiana Jones is finally here in Mezco form. Mezco 1/12 collective Indiana Jones is my number 1 action figure of 2024. So there we go. That's it. That's my top 10 action figures of 2024. Thank you so much for checking out my video. Thank you to everyone who checked out my channel during 2024. It's been a wild ride, and I'm glad that you came along with me. So what did you think? Did you agree with my picks? Did you disagree with them? Tell me in the comments of this video what your top 10 action figures of 2024 were. And now we're looking forward to an incredible 2025. Who knows what the action figure gods have in store for us. But until then, don't forget the number 1 rule. Be cool. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year.